All right, guys, can you all hear me loud and clear? Comment below. Let me know if you can hear me. It is Sunday. Right now, it is 12:34 p.m. here in Texas. If you can hear me, let me know to make sure that I'm not talking to myself here. All right, perfect. I am using a microphone, as you can see, so you should be hearing me extremely clear. Okay. I've invested money when it comes to my microphone situation. This is like a $400 microphone. Camera, as you can see me clearly, is a high def camera, so you should be getting a nice reception right now and high resolution. Those of you that watch me on your television, feel free to do exactly that. Make sure you blow it up on your screen. You should have no problem seeing me and hearing me. Anyway, before I get started, folks, make sure you are checking out my website, jaysaudiolab.com. I actually just loaded a ton of more affordable gear. All right, for those of you that cannot afford the ultra high end, I understand some of you don't have a limited budget, which I respect. I was there before. And so this is why I'm making efforts to bring, affordable gear. You got some subwoofers there from REL, the G1s, Mark One. I think that's a great value subwoofer for the money. We got Seaton submersive subs as well, and many other things that I think will definitely help the performance of your system. So I'm going to make a big effort going forward to continue to purchase more affordable gear. Still good gear, right? REL is a very well-known brand in the US and worldwide, I dare to say. And so I want to make sure that I am, again, snatching gear like that so that I can give you guys some good deals. And that hopefully, I can help the performance of your system one way or the other. But remember, the main priority of my channel is the ultra high end. No one is doing this on YouTube. There is no other YouTube channel out there that displays the caliber hi-fi gear that I display. That's a fact. Check me if you don't believe me, okay? You're not going to find someone that sleeps with this level of gear besides me, at least publicly. Of course, that's not to say that there aren't any audiophiles out there that have systems that are far ahead, far superior than mine. However, they're not public, so they're really irrelevant. Doesn't make a difference. If they don't have it on YouTube, they're not making content about it. They're worthless at this point, right? Because they're not really entertaining you guys. They're not really here in front of the mic. They're not here talking to industry leaders, being part of the shows, covering rooms at shows, and obviously the main topic of conversation being the magazines, the HiFi Magazines, and obviously how they conduct business. Before I get started, I want to make sure you all hit that like button because I want this video to be very popular and I want this video to actually do quite well here on YouTube. And the only way we can do that is by you guys hitting that like button, subscribing to the channel, okay? My channel has been somewhat stagnant as of the last 2 months, 3 months, and I understand why the analytics are telling me this. I'm not really seeing a lot of new subscribers. Many reasons for this. Reason number one is I haven't done any content in like 10 days, like real videos, real content in like 10 days maybe. I've done shorts to kind of promote some of this hi-fi equipment that's coming in for me to resell. But I understand that. I understand that YouTube is not really promoting me right now. So any video that I do, like today's video, it's something that I'm doing off the cuff. I decided to just sit with you and kind of go over some of these comments, some of these things that are being thrown around, whether it be through articles or websites or general opinion about those two controversial videos that we released. One of them being with Elliot Goldman from Bending Wave USA, Mike from Suncoast Audio, Mike Baird, and also Florian, who happens to be the designer of Claris's audio, the loudspeakers that are essentially an Apogee reborn, right? But anyway, where do I begin? Where do I begin? Let me see. Where do I begin? Okay, let's just get right into it, right? Why the hell not? Look, those two videos that we did about the magazines, about how they conduct business behind the scenes, about equipment loans, long-term loans for reviewers, and obviously, what they keep or they don't keep, or, all these conversations that we had. Okay. I want to make sure I say this. I have zero proof that any of this is happening. Zero proof. I don't break bread with the reviewers from the Absolute Sound or Stereophile. That's not to say that they don't acknowledge me at shows. That's not to say that they don't say, "Hey, Jay, how are you?" Because certainly, some of them, not all, but some of them do acknowledge me at shows. They know who I am. Okay. They know who I am. They know I have a heartbeat. They know I have a hell of a heartbeat within the audio industry. So they know who I am. And so the reason why I made those two videos was because I had dealers and manufacturers telling me that I should embark on opening up a little more about what's going on behind the scenes with magazines and their processes and how they get around, basically, when it comes to publishing reviews. And so Florian and Mike spoke on their experience with the magazines. Okay, this is what they went through. Okay, I don't have any proof of this. They are very, very legit sources, though. And so I simply handed off a mic for them to speak on their experiences with the hi-fi industry, with the magazines, actually, specifically. However, little did we know, Mike, Elliot, and Florian, that we would be in some serious, deep conversations. There has been a lot of backlash. Some people claim that because of these videos, they were never able to recuperate their former jobs within the hi-fi industry. Yes, I'm not going to put out names, okay, because it's just, folks, I got to keep it real. It doesn't help me. It doesn't help me. It doesn't do anything for my business when I open up about who said what, where I found these sources, who is liable for this, who's liable for that. If I'm being honest with you, folks, it doesn't help me as a businessman. As much as I want to be open about what is happening behind the scenes, and I'm going to get to it, I can't really put a name behind everything that's being said. Okay. So you guys are going to have to do your own digging or just take it at face value as far as what incidents are happening. Okay. So, as you know, the Florida Audio Show or Florida Audio Expo happened about a week ago, I think, in Tampa, Sarasota, Florida, in Tampa, actually. And so we know that HiFi Magazines did not show up. The Absolute Sound and I believe Stereophile did not show up in full force. I know one of the reviewers from the Absolute Sound was there, Michael Fremer, but I believe Michael was there as basically the tracking angle, which happens to be his business, his entity, right? He owns that, and so there were a lot of conversations as to why they didn't show up. The main one being the videos that we released leading to the hi-fi show. Mike is a businessman, and I must say, a hell of a businessman. Mike Bovert is a hell of a businessman. There's not an accident that he's so successful at what he does. And so I know he looked into opening up some more with you guys on my channel. And obviously, he measured all the consequences, the receipt that may come his way, including the possibility that these magazines were not going to attend his show and cover his show. He still went out there and did his thing and didn't care. Okay, so much respect. I think we all deserve, we all should give respect to Mike for doing that. Because remember, he owns the Florida Audio Expo. That's his baby. And he still came out front and center and opened up to all of us about what transpired throughout the years with different publications, right? So I have nothing but the utmost respect for Mike for opening up and basically telling his story, his side of the story. Now, I am aware that there has been a recent publication, a recent article on the Absolute Sound. And let me see if I can pull it up really quick. I'm going to read it so you guys understand what is being said. And actually, you know what? you guys can probably look it up. Let me see if I can. There you go. Okay, you see that? If you all can look up that article, okay, that is written by Robert Harley from The Absolute Sound. And you should definitely read this piece. Look it up online. This is a response to the video that we did. Okay. This is simply a response to the video that we did. And so I want you guys to understand that this is how we have been shaking trees. It's really gotten around. I have gotten a lot of feedback, even at certain private events, HiFi private events that I have attended to over the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks, maybe. I've had actually brands, manufacturers, which will go nameless. I will say that these brands will go nameless in order to protect their identities. They have come up to me to tell me, thank you, Jay, for speaking the truth. I want to make sure I say this. I didn't speak the truth. Mike and Florian, as well as Elliot, spoke their truths. I didn't have anything to speak on because I don't have a relationship with the magazines. So I don't have any business or any transactions that I can speak on. Okay. But a lot of brands, I repeat, have emailed me, sent me messages to basically thanking me for those two videos because they feel like someone had to say it, someone had to expose it. They feel that they have been abused in many ways or not given a fair shot, whether it be a review or media coverage at shows or just different forces that are always pressing against them so that they are unable to grow. We as audiophiles, you guys watching me, 74 of you watching me right now, and myself, we are always wanting more affordable hi-fi, right? We are always wanting new brands to emerge. We always want to see new things, right? That be developed that are more cost effective or high performance, price performance propositions. The problem with that is in such a small industry, there are main players, big names. You guys know who they are. I'm going to try to avoid mentioning specific brands for the purpose of this video. Okay. So to not start another shitstorm. So what you guys have to understand is this. These big players within the hi-fi industry, not magazines, I'm speaking about brands. These players do anything to stop new up and coming manufacturers from entering this space. They will very politely threat certain things from happening. If you do this, we won't be there. If you have that product there in your space, our relationship is over. If you don't have our XYZ product, then we can no longer do business. If you do that, this is the consequences. These are things that are happening behind the scenes. Now, a lot of manufacturers that watch me, and I know you all watch me, stop playing, stop pretending like you don't watch me. You all watch me, okay? I would say 90% of the hi-fi industry knows who I am. They watch me. Whether they're a subscriber or not, that's a different story, but I don't care. What I care is for my followers, you all watching me right now, to hit that like button and subscribe, right? As long as I have your support, right? That's all that matters. But a lot of the hi-fi industry, a lot of these brands watch me. They know who I am, okay? And so in my early days, I was a nobody. No one cared about what I had to say. No one gave a crap about my opinion. No one really had any sort of like attention come my way. Now we know what it is. We know what time it is. That's no longer the case. So because now I have more weight within the industry, there is a lot more what? Responsibility on these shoulders right here that have all of a sudden disappeared because I haven't been weightlifting in about 6 months. So yes, my shoulders are no longer wide or capped because I just haven't been able to get to the gym. So I carry a lot of load from having a higher amount of subscribers, which in reality, for those of you that are not too familiar with how the YouTube space works, subscribers are not really the most important thing. You know what's the most important thing about a channel is how many views in totality that channel has. I am at over 20 million views since I started this channel. I literally just got an email about 3 weeks ago. I have over 20 million views. To put it into perspective, I have checked three other hi-fi channels that have 2 times or 3 times the amount of subscribers that I have, they have half the views that I have. So what I'm trying to say is don't be fooled into thinking that subscribers is really the most important thing, because I can assure you it isn't. It's the amount of views that that channel is generating what matters the most, because ultimately, as I mentioned earlier, there are a lot of people who don't subscribe but they watch. So anyway, getting back to this, you know, it's petty to see that there are many sensitive personalities within the industry. And the moment we speak on what's happening behind the scenes, they basically get their panties in a bunch. They basically, oh, now we are disturbing the industry. Now we are destroying the industry. Now we are speaking on basically things that are not true. And my whole thing with it is, so if it's not true, why do we have three people talking basically or telling the same story? And I'm sure there are more, by the way, that would love to come forward, but they told me they don't want to get involved with it. They told me, I have a lot of stories to tell you, Jay, but honestly, I'd rather not be on camera. I have been approached by other brands that want to speak on this. Brands, not even dealers, brands that have been complaining, okay, about all of this. And at the end of the day, you know what's happening? They're not going to come forward because they have a business to conduct, which is why I kept telling you guys earlier that I'm doing the same thing. I can't be as open as I want to be because there are receipts with anything in life. Anything you say or do in this country, the US to be specific, you have the freedom of speech. Yes, you do. That doesn't mean it comes without receipts. Okay. There's always a receipt for what you say and what you do. All right. So, um, the truth, guys, I want to say more because I have a lot more data, more things to share with you, but I don't know how to go about it without creating more difficulty for my business, creating more uncomfortable situations for my business. Um, I have spoken on the fact that there are some brands out there that are interfering with my business because they feel that I shouldn't have possession of their electronics, because they feel that I am not good for their brand if I bought any product that comes from their brand. And so to me that's interesting, because the reality is, um, you can't control what I do, what I buy. It's impossible. It's inevitable. Eventually, something gets listed on the secondhand market. Eventually, dealers call me because they need to sell it, and I'm there to buy it. So, brands out there, all you manufacturers that are out there watching me, I'm not going to mention your name, but you damn well know who you are. You know who you are. You watch me. Right now, you're eating popcorn, drinking a soda, or maybe having a beer, or maybe in your office watching me. I'm going to tell you right now, watch me. Turn it up. Bring all your your people, or all your whoever it is, your employees, bring them around and have them watch this piece. Okay, you can't stop me from buying anything. You can't stop me, but I can tell you this, and this is not a threat, I'm just making a statement. If I catch you and I find out that you're trying to block me from conducting my business, what I do for a living to feed my family, I will expose you on my channel. I will tell the audience everything I know about you with receipts. You understand me? So I encourage you, I encourage you to stay the fuck back, keep building your brands, keep building your products, keep doing your thing, and stay the fuck out of my way. You understand me? Stay the fuck out of my way. It's so stupid that you are talking to dealers, telling them to not sell me anything, to, no, you can't send that to Jay. We'd be really disappointed if you sold that to Jay. We would just rather not go to Jay. And at the end of the day, these are consumers that are looking to try something else. So they call me to sell me something, or dealers that took something on trade. And guess what? These dealers cannot sell that product online, that product that they're taking on trade, because they're a dealer of yours, which means they can't list it. And their only hope To sell that product is to have someone walk through the door and buy it. And what are the chances that that's happening today in this small industry, this niche? Slim to none. Very few brick and mortar locations have a massive operation. I can think of two: Paragon Audio, I think it is, in Indiana, and there is LMC in Arizona. Those are serious businesses that I know can generate foot traffic. The rest of the dealers, they're small players. They're small dudes. They're not big, okay? They don't really have massive traffic to take on a trade that could be worth $50,000, and they're hoping to be able to sell it someday, okay, before you discontinue the product. So they got to call Jay to buy. Okay, so in short, I'll repeat myself. If I catch you, manufacturers, whoever the hell you are, okay, if I catch you interfering with my business, talking to customers, because you're doing that too, or talking to your dealers, and I find out those dealers are they're telling me, Jay, they told me to not sell this to you. They call me and they tried. I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm gonna expose you on my channel. I'm gonna put your shit front and center. That's not a threat. I'm gonna do it. So chill the fuck out. Step back, do your thing. Do you, I do me. Don't worry about me. Do you. Keep driving. Okay? That's not what Sony does. That's not what Apple does. I'm sure they don't give a shit if someone is talking shit about their iPhone, right? They don't give a shit. They keep producing Apple products and business continues as usual. Okay? So now that I have that out the way, I'm going to look at some of the comments that I have here right now. I don't want to keep you guys completely out of the loop. Okay, so okay, you remind me of who's this dude? Wow, look at this dude. Who's this guy? Wow, look at this dude, guys. Check this guy out. Wow, who is this guy? Well, I'm not even going to like acknowledge that, because to me, I'm just gonna do my thing. And okay, so I'm gonna just a block user, banned user. Okay, so we banned this fool, so he won't be able to comment anymore. Jay seems sincere and very heartfelt. That's probably one of the magazine dudes, by the way, that they're talking shit on in the comment section. By the way, it's probably one of them. Who is the idiot spamming? I think that idiot is probably some manufacturer or HiFi Magazine punk that doesn't have the balls to call me out when I'm out and about at shows. That's who that is. And if you want to know where I'm going to be, go find me. You know where I'm going to be next, at the largest show here in the US. Find me. Go on. Find me. I support Jay. Thanks, Scott. Appreciate the support, man, and everybody else's support. Yes, I'm the only one who gave him a like. I would appreciate if everybody else here watching me, 123 of you, please hit the like button, subscribe, okay? Hey Jay, love you, bro. You're making it easier for us to turn. Thank you, man. I appreciate it, man. Thank you for that support. A bit juvenile, junior high, my drama in this industry, apparently. There's a lot of that, Todd. A lot of drama, and yes, a lot of immature behavior. No question about it, okay? Rather than just having a straight up conversation, I have offered my microphone to different magazines if in the event that they want to come out and just speak their truth, whatever that may be. I don't have any proof of what's being said. Zero proof. I'm letting 3 trusted HiFi businessmen speak on their experiences. That's all I have done. Okay. And if they have beef, that's on them. That's whoever it is that has a problem with what was said. Maybe there is some truth to what's being put out. Who are these jagoffs that gaslighting you? Why do you even sell their shit? Nick, this is why I just made that big statement, Big Nick, because I want to make sure that I start real fast and I make that very loud and clear. Okay. I will definitely, and I promise I will definitely be exposing if I find out that they're still talking shit. I will definitely do it. It won't be nice. It'll blow up. It'll go viral. It'll be all over forums. Okay. They don't want me to do that. This is why I've been diplomatic. This is why I've been holding back, because I want to conduct business in a healthy way without having to call people out or having to fight or having to do any stupid shit like that. Okay. I don't want to do that. There you go. Nice. Very nice. Okay, so let's see, what are your comments. If you got any comments, guys, please let me know right now. If you're truly making a high-end world-class product, then you shouldn't have anything to fear from anybody. Products should stand on their own merits. Well, Todd, that is very true, Todd. That should be the case. But as I mentioned earlier, there are many sensitive personalities within the hi-fi industry, Todd. It's very, very well known, documented. Okay, this is a well-known thing. Okay, I will say that I have a lot of extra information about dinners and things of that nature that, to be frank with you, I can't really, again, I cannot speak on. I really cannot embark on speaking about how some of these reviewers are behaving, because again, it's none of my business. Okay, it really isn't any of my business. That's why I refuse to call anybody out. Okay, so let me see. But Todd, you're correct. Yes, Paragon is a hell of a dealer, hell of an operation, hell of a business. That's a serious business. Cheers, everyone! Smash thumbs up. Absolutely. Thank you. There you go, Jay. World class manufacturers have nothing to fear from any review. That's true. The thing about it is, you have to remember that if you see something, let's say on Google, right, and you're looking to, I don't know, go to a restaurant, and that restaurant has 500 reviews and it's 5 stars, what does that really tell you? Is that really the reality? Is that really true, or is that suspect when you have 500 reviews and it's 5 stars? I personally think that's just not possible. I could see 4.9, I could see 4.8, but if you have 500 reviews and it's 5 stars, I'd be really curious about how that came about. With the hi-fi industry, they cannot take on any sort of negative criticism about their products. To me, the attitude should be, hey, you know what? That's fine. We have 10 good reviews, one not so good. We can live with that. That's 90% success rate. We're good with that. We understand we're not everybody's cup of tea. Maybe the negative review had to do with the item being too pricey, or the item being too big, or the item taking too long to manufacture. Again, you can't please everybody. And I think normal, intelligent consumers understand that products cannot fit everybody's wishes and wants. I think people understand that. People know that it's not going to be perfect for everyone. That's why we have a lot of different options from different manufacturers, right? But that's unfortunately not the mentality within the hi-fi industry. If anyone says anything negative at all about a product, it blows completely out of proportion. It has some side effects, if you will. The wanker is envious of what you have accomplished. Keep going. Yep, that's why we're doing it. That's why we're keep. Listen, if I hadn't been doing something right, I would have never been able to be in this home. I would have never been able to have the beautiful space that I built. I would have never been able to do the things that I have accomplished. If I had not been doing real work, I would not be capable of doing the things that I'm doing. Just remember that. Just remember that. Thank you. I appreciate your support, guys. Everyone that's here watching me, I really appreciate you all taking the time out of your busy day and spending time with your families or spouses or pets, just to be here with me having a conversation. I really, really appreciate you all. That means a lot to me. Why so much drama? The stakes aren't that high. It's just speakers, man. Well, look, the why so much drama? I'll tell you, the drama is It's because, again, people cannot take any sort of negative criticism about how they conduct business. And don't get me wrong, I am partially guilty of that. But I came to the realization that my business model is not designed for everybody. It really isn't. And so if someone comes in here and buys nothing from me, I can't be mad at that. Maybe they don't have the money. So I have to reason with that. So you can't win every single thing in life. You can't win every single review. You can't win everything you do. You're going to have to learn how to take some losses along the way. That just comes with it. And to be frank with you, I learned more about the losses than anything else because then I learned that I wasn't ready. I wasn't prepared enough. I needed to study harder to pass that test. I didn't work my ass off as hard as I should have. Maybe that's the lesson to be learned. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I see it. I try to make a positive out of a negative. How are those rooms coming along, folks? The rooms are pretty damn good. Right now, I am trying to work on several proposals for the apartment. I have some contractors placing bids to build the private apartment that will be where my future clients will stay when they come and they stay overnight. They'll stay in this private apartment here on my property, right next to where I have built these two beautiful listening rooms. Okay, so that's the plan. The plan is for them to stay there. So we're renovating that apartment, making it look really nice, smoothing out the walls, putting in beautiful light fixtures, and we're going to put furniture in that. And obviously, that's where some of my family members will stay when they come to visit from overseas. All of that. So we're working on that. But I did receive for my main reference room the top of the line critical mass rack, which is essentially 9 shelves. I haven't had a chance to put it together, folks. To be frank, I just haven't had a moment to go in that direction because I've been listing a lot of hi-fi gear that I have purchased. So I need to make sure that I take pictures. I need to make sure that I take videos of it so that you guys hopefully can buy from me, right? So it's all listed on my website. But right now, my main goal is to put together this beautiful rack from Critical Mass Systems. It's 9 shelves, and that rack will be hopefully ready next week. I'm right now waiting for about the last 20% of the acoustic panels from Art Novian. Okay, so I'm waiting for that last 20% so that we can finish up both front walls, which is the wall behind the speaker. We need to finish those two walls and then put the covers on the actual frames that we have here already installed. Once that's done, it's just a matter of finding the right rug that will go between the chair and the speakers because we already have the chairs. I bought the chairs about a month ago. I just haven't had a chance to finish the room because we're working on other little small things that are important. Once that's done, then the equipment will start to come inside, and we're going to be able to finally be able to put equipment pieces, components on the different racks. And then soon after that, I'm going to fly somebody in here to come out and measure both rooms, and obviously create a lot of content, create a lot of conversations that you guys will be a part of, by the way, so that maybe we do a live with him. Maybe I'll do a live stream from within the listening rooms, and you guys can ask questions about room acoustics or measurements. That could be something that would be of interest to some of you. So I'm planning to roll out more content. So I still have to do the room measurements again, finish off the last 20% of when it comes to the acoustics, room acoustics, the rug. And I think come hopefully April before Expona or right after Expona, the room should be ready to roll. Everything should be inside and we can start making real content and I can actually push play for the first time. After I think the last time I pushed play was September of 2025. So you do the math, it'll be like 8 months total, more or less, by the time I hit that play button on my iPad and start playing music from Cobos or Tidal. So, but it's been a long other distraction. Okay. Just wanted to let you guys know, actually, this is a little bit more internal. This is more of a family thing. I am looking at some guard dogs for the property. And again, this is a side conversation from HiFi. I know it doesn't have to do 100% with HiFi, but I wanted to share with you. All right, I don't know what happened, guys. Sorry about that. Power went out. I really don't know what the hell happened just now. But okay. Can you guys hear me? Sorry about that. Okay. Can you guys hear me? My internet is out, so I had to connect to my hotspot. Are you guys able to hear me? Let me know if you guys can hear me. Let me know if you guys can hear me so that I can continue to talk. Okay, perfect. So I'm gonna give you guys some side conversation about something that has to do more with the family. We're looking for another member of the family in the form of a dog. No, Jay doesn't want a second kid. No, sir. I'm 6 years of age. I do not want to have an 18 year old when I'm 65. Hell no. So, that factory needs to close for good. But anyway, we're looking for another member of the family. We're looking to buy a dog, a guard dog, and that's just to keep the family environment safe. It's about a 2.5 acre property here. We have plenty of space for large pets, and so we went out yesterday and we located a breeder of Cane Corsos. Yes. So I'm looking very closely at the breed Cane Corsos. All right. And the reason why that's a Cane Corso that I want is because, we've done a lot of, I've done my homework. I want a guard dog that could be a good family dog. And I am understanding that this animal is obviously a dog that it can be stubborn, that you got to train and put time in and dedication. But you know what? I think it's time. I think it's time for us to bring finally a dog home. I haven't had a dog since I was probably 18 years of age. So 28 years ago was the last time I had an actual dog. And I think it's time for me to, just bring that extra level of protection to the family, my daughter, my wife. And just to be frank with you, man, I got to get out and walk, guys. I gotta get out and go for a walk. And I think a dog is gonna help me to actually force me to get out and walk 2 to 3 miles a day. And so we looked at a beautiful, beautiful uh, uh, breed yesterday. This breeder that we went to see had some beautiful Cognac Corsos. And we are right now in the process of probably selecting one by the summer. It's a lot of commitment. I don't know if any of you have had a Cane Corso or know someone who has had a Cane Corso, but it is an Italian Mastiff. Okay, and look it up, Italian Mastiff Cane Corso. We're looking to buy one, and maybe in a year or two, a second one. I'm the only testosterone in the house. How many of you right now? How many of you watching me right now are the only testosterone in the house? How many of you? I'm the only testosterone in this house. I got two female cats, my daughter, my mother in law, and my wife. And my testosterone, as you know, at 46, it's not necessarily getting higher, it's getting lower every day. I need some help. And so I want a male. a male dog, big boy male dog that can come and guard and protect and make everybody feel safer. Okay. Not that I feel unsafe where I am in Texas, because luckily I have great, there's a cop actually that is hired to literally go around the perimeter of the, um, all the area where we live. And that cop is passing by like every hour, every 2 hours. He's passing in front of the house. So we do have a lot of great protection, but we just feel like we want an additional level of protection inside the house. And I'm not gonna lie to you, it's very, very scary to think about a dog that weighs 140, 150 pounds when fully grown. And knowing that that's another level of responsibility that I'm going to have, primarily me more than my wife and my daughter, because, obviously I'm going to be the only person that should be capable of handling such a large breed of an animal. But I'm excited. I'm excited for the challenge. I'm actually coming to terms every day that I will end up with a dog, that I will end up with a dog, that I'm thinking about a dog, so that when it's here, it doesn't hit me in the face. So around the summer, which is when the hi-fi industry is slower and when my daughter's out of school, so we don't have to worry about homework with her or anything like that, that's probably when we're going to buy one, bring it here, and put in like 3 months of hard work and dedication. Let me see. All right. As long as it doesn't piss all over your gear, then it's good. I agree, right? I agree. Well, that dog is never going to enter my hi-fi rooms. That dog is strictly to be on the outside and a certain section of the inside of the house, not my actual sound rooms. My sound rooms are not in the house. Remember that. That's completely separate from the house. So there's no reason for that dog to walk in my dedicated my listening rooms. Um, I want to take this time first, right now, to give you the opportunity, all of you, to ask me any questions that you may have. Is there anything in particular that you want me to answer? Put it in the comment section. I want to give back some time to you guys. I haven't had a moment to hear you all out, and I want to give that back to you. I want to give you that opportunity because you all support me big time. And so I want to make sure that I'm giving you attention. Okay. So if you have any questions, random questions, it could be about your system, it could be about anything. Okay. I'd be willing to answer them. So fire away. I'm listening. Okay. If you have any questions, build him a nice pen. Yes. Jay will take, let me see. Jay, get a puppy and it grows up. Yes, that's the plan, J.M. Harris. That's the plan. We're getting a puppy, 12 weeks old, hopefully. Okay, so let's see who will take care of you about your. There is a person that I can't connect with. He used to work as a reviewer and he worked for the Absolute Sound. You saw him on my video about the magazines. His name is Lee Scoggins. So Lee has a business now going around the country doing a system setup, speaker placement, and also doing speaker measurements. So when he gets in here, we're going to make a lot of content. I'm going to drop all his information in the comments section, or links to his website or his personal email, whatever the case may be, so you guys can reach out to him. Okay. So you're going to have a lot of opportunity to connect with someone that can definitely help you and hence fine tune the performance of your sound system. Do not miss those videos. Okay. When they release, hopefully in about a month. I really love your sound rooms. All that hard work has paid off. Well, to be honest, I am happy myself, but I'm also happier that you like them. I'm happy. I'm glad to know that you really like them. I wanted to do something different. I did not want to copy and paste someone else's room idea, design, or anything like that. I was trying to stay away from a copy and paste listening room model. Hey, brother, have you used Synergistic Research Active Grounding Boxes? I have not used Synergistic Research Active Grounding Boxes. I've only used Shunyata. They definitely make a difference. I'm not going to sit here and tell you they do not make a difference. They definitely make a difference. Okay. So don't think that those boxes do not make a difference. They definitely make a difference. There's going to be a lot more information down low. You're going to hear actually more music behind the noise that is in your system right now. You may not know this, but there is so much more information right now that you're not hearing, and grounding your system with a nice grounding setup will give you access to that extra information behind the music, whether it's longer decays, whether there is even more articulation, there's going to be more air between each instrument on the stage. Think of it as someone is grabbing an eraser and literally, you know how when you use a pencil and you draw and sketch something, right? You know how you can come back with the eraser and erase, but then you have this grayish cloud still that's still there no matter what you do. When you buy a grounding system, think of it as it deletes all of that excess carbon, and now you can see again clean and clear even further, even deeper in the recordings. That's what I've noticed with grounding boxes. Okay, the only con about grounding boxes, in my opinion, okay, and I don't think anyone who's done it before will disagree, it is a spider wave spot. It's a spider web, excuse me. It looks horrible in most systems. There is a lot of wires going everywhere. It does not really help you when it comes to the aesthetics of your system. If you're very picky about having an organized looking system, you're going to have to work even harder to make sure that your system is neat and nice when you're using grounding boxes and wires. There are wires going everywhere, and some of these wires, unfortunately, are visible. You can't really hide them. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Okay, good question. What's your thinking on primary amps? I have never heard primary amps, unfortunately. Never, never heard of this brand. Never have, don't have any experience. Don't know of anyone who's used it. So I'm sorry I can't help you with that. How are tacos in Texas? Man, tacos in Texas, even at a gas station, even tacos from a gas station are amazing. Okay, Texas has food. Even I mean, we pump gas and you can go inside and have a full blown meal, and it's amazing. It's incredible, man. The food in Texas, some of the best food I've had is here in Texas. And if you want to know, I'll say it. Being a Florida person, basically most of my life I've lived in Florida. Florida has, unfortunately, in comparison to Texas, when it comes to food, not even close. Not even remotely close to Texas food. See, in Florida, food is not a big deal. Okay, people that have money will always find get great restaurants in Florida, but the average individual, people don't make lines in Florida to sit down at a restaurant. In Chicago, I remember seeing people lined up against a wall when it was freezing cold to go into like a new trendy place. That's not a thing in Florida. No one will make a line in Florida like that to eat. And in Texas, they do. And the same thing in Chicago, actually. So amazing food here in Texas. Okay, any plans in getting Zelatons for your reference system? I'm going to say this to you. I think Zelaton are some of the best loudspeakers made today. I remember being in Munich with Gideon, who happens to be the US importer of the brand. And I was impressed, really impressed by Zelaton. Really incredible articulate sound, beautiful looking product. You can tell it's quality. I mean, incredible driver design. There is really nothing negative to say about Zelaton. But one thing, and one thing only that you guys have to keep in mind with Zelaton. One thing, please. That's a speaker that is so revealing that you unfortunately have zero opportunity at cutting corners when it comes to the electronics that are needed to make it sing. That is not a fault of the loudspeaker. I gotta say, it's not a fault of the loudspeaker. You're buying basically a high performing loudspeaker, high performance to the nth degree, and its job is to give you every single thing you're doing behind it. And that's actually the job of a well-designed speaker. And so with that comes more responsibility, with that comes, the need for you to really have good power, good electronics, isolation devices. I mean, and hopefully a dedicated space, at least a treated room, even if it's not dedicated, at least treatment, because that speaker will call you out so fast if you are not crossing your T's and dotting your I's. Again, this is not a knock on the speaker. It's a great speaker. But the more high performance a loudspeaker is, regardless of the brand, does not matter the brand, the more responsibility that you will have to make sure you got the right electronics that have the best synergy with this loudspeaker. Lee is spending time with my system when he is in Chicago for Expona. He learned from the master, Jim Smith. Rest his soul. Good. Awesome. Awesome to know. Great to know. What is your view of Norma amps? I don't have any, unfortunately, any experience with this brand, so I really can't help you with it. Hello, Jay. What's your take on the Karma Veyron? Do you have enough experience to talk about their sonic DNA and somehow compare to Magicals? Thanks and good luck with the dogs. Great choice. Well, thank you. I have only experience with Karmas at a show. That speaker that you're talking about, that was in Munich. And if I want to rewind my mind as far as what I remember, besides the beautiful room that they put together, Karma has some of the best looking listening rooms by far. And the loudspeakers are also beautiful, well made. What I remember was a speaker that was so easy to listen to, so engaging. It had top end that was very airy, never hard and etched, never really made me want to like stand up because it was so loud. I remember them cranking up that speaker and I just felt like the sound got wider and deeper, not necessarily louder. And to me, that's a great indication of a speaker that has low distortion, that doesn't get compressed when you crank up the volume, that's also set up and matched up really well with the electronics. It's really a high performance speaker as well. But I do feel that Karma, although it's a very revealing speaker, and again, a good looking speaker, there's nothing negative to say about Karma. It's never going to be at the nth degree in terms of resolution, in terms of the resolution of a Zeloton, for example. The Zeloton is just, I think of it like this. The Karma is a really impressive BMW, M3, and then the Zeloton is like an M5 with competition, with like every single option. It's just much more immediate, much more faster, right? To me, that's Zeloton. And Karma does things, in my opinion, a lot more politely. So it could be a speaker that is more forgiving. It's going to allow you to listen to bad recordings and not necessarily punish you for it as much as a Zeloton would. Zeloton is going to call you out, and I think Karma might be the easier speaker though to live with. Again, fantastic speakers. Both are phenomenal speakers. It's really about what's your flavor, man. What do you want? What are you doing? Tea or coffee? Which one are you having? That's more or less what it boils down to. Okay. Okay, so how long for the next follow-up video for your sound room? To be honest, I right now don't have any clue because right now I am trying to decide on a few other things that I need to do that are also tied to the experience, but not necessarily within my listening rooms. But my next video should be about the racks. Once I get the right instruction as far as how to assemble them, I'm going to try to film that, or the assembly part and how to put together the rack for the reference room, which is a beautiful looking rack. Will CH position? Absolutely. I have a CH position set up. I have had it in my possession for the last 8 months, 9 months. So you'll see a CH Precision L10 preamplifier. You'll see a CH Precision M10. Those are in my possession. They are in that dark color. They're not the typical original silver finish. They're the dark color, almost like a black looking color. So yes, you will see the L10 and M10 in my rooms. You're gonna see all the big flagship stuff in my room. You're gonna see all of that. There's nothing there that you're gonna be missing. Let's put it this way. Okay, let's put it that way. You're not going to find that my rooms are lacking a specific flagship product that's mainstream. I want to repeat, mainstream. I can't embark on buying these esoteric brands that are from the middle of nowhere, from Transylvania, that are $150,000, $200,000 that no one has heard of. I cannot embark on bringing that here. I cannot. You know why? Because you all don't buy it. You all don't know it, so you're not going to roll the dice in buying something that no one knows about. And if I'm being frank with you, do you want another reason why many of you watching me do not buy hi-fi gear that could be of great quality and great performance, but expensive? Do you know why many of you don't do that? Because you're always concerned with, man, what am I going to do with it once I'm done playing with it, Jay? Who's going to buy that from me? No one. I can't put my money into that because the reality is most audiophiles, the majority of you watching me right now, are really already thinking about the exit plan of whatever purchase you haven't even made yet. Think about it. Right now, some of you are thinking about a music server. Right now, some of you are thinking about an amplifier, preamplifier, and whatnot, right? And you might be contemplating a brand that no one has heard of, a very small player that may be a great sounding unit or component. Because you're afraid that once you're done playing with it, whether it be in 6 months or a year, no one will take it from you. And so, see what I'm saying? That's all you folks now are thinking about. And that forces me to only have mainstream stuff. Because remember, I've been open about the fact in 2022 by these brands that had really good stuff, and they wanted me to bring it home, or they wanted to ship it to my house in Florida and put together, listen to it in my space, and if I like it, to make a review for them, right? They wanted me. They gave me a blank check. Pretty much, here, Jay, write your price on it for us to have a review made by you because we want to penetrate the US market. Okay. And they are great sounding products. But you know the problem, guys? If I bought something like that, no one's buying it from me. Even me, with my influence, even I would have a problem selling it because eventually everything has to go. That's not a shock. Eventually things need to be packed up and shipped away, sent to another buyer, another user, because the YouTube space forces you to keep changing things. This is the reason why I just told you earlier during this video that my growth has kind of stalled a little bit. And that's because I haven't done anything different. You see what I'm saying? I keep talking about the rooms, but I think the crowd, the audience, the crowd is ready to see gear inside. They want to hear the rooms. They want to see gorgeous images of the system. They want to see the lights already flash on top of the gear. People are ready for that. And YouTube knows that. And so it's no different when it comes to hi-fi gear. If I sat on the same gear forever, you all are going to be tired. And so imagine me, I am in that position. Believe it or not, most of you watching me eventually hit that same position. You're tired of looking at it. You're tired of looking at that product on your floor, in your listening space, and you want to sell it. You have to have an exit plan. That's another reason why small players have a difficult time penetrating this market. I thought audio brands should change marketing from trying to be the best, whatever it means. They should educate people that they should find the sound they really like. Yes, there's absolutely a lot of truth to what you're saying. The issue is a lot of these audio brands, remember, they're in business to sell product. They're not in the business to collect anything or just make boxes and keep them inside their warehouse. They need dealers to sell products. That's how they stay afloat. And another thing that many people never ever talk about, and I'm going to be the first one to probably say this today, but I think it needs to be said. Do you want to know why manufacturers continue to release new products? Do you want to know why there's always the next great thing, the next great music server, the next great amplifier, preamplifier, DAC, you name it? Want to know why? Because websites like the one that we normally go to find used hi-fi gear, okay? No, I'm not talking about eBay. I'm talking about another website. Those websites force manufacturers to release a new product because the moment that particular website is saturated with, I don't know, 10 loudspeakers of the same model or the same brand, the desirability for that product tanks. Many of you don't even want it anymore because there's 10 of them, five preamps, five cables, five of this, five of that. They have a hard time selling new product when the used market is flooded with secondhand stuff. And so this is why they release the next gen, even though the changes might be a color change or an extra set of capacitors inside or a different remote control, maybe a little more terabyte storage or a little bit of this, a little bit of that, so that you all now see that listed product on that used website as that's no longer the next greatest, latest and greatest thing. That's why manufacturers are forced to keep coming up with brand new models. Else, you all don't buy. I buy because I got to resell, so I'm not going to include myself in that. I buy it because I got to sell it, but you all don't buy it. You all don't buy. If you see too many amplifiers of X brand sitting on the used market, you all don't want it. No dealer is able to sell you that amplifier because there's too many of them listed on the secondhand market. That's why brands have to continue to make changes to keep you all coming back for more. The truth now, all right? You guys never thought about it that way, but that's the reality. That's why these things constantly evolve and change. And to be quite frank, oftentimes they are just repackaged goods. They'll change the front plate a little bit. They'll change the volume knob. They'll give you a different remote. And 99% of the inside is the same thing. Truth. Thinking about another preamp for the fleet, amps, M700s and Antilleon Evo, Pandora, VAC, or Niagara Classic in there now. Another preamp for the fleet. Okay. Pandora, VAC, or no, I'm going to tell you, for me, I like VAC with Griffin. I think it's a great match. I'm not sure which are the M700s. I don't know which model that is, Joseph. So you're going to have to really have more clarity on which amplifiers those are. But for the Antilleon Evo, I could say the VAC could be a better match, in my opinion. The Pandora is great, but the Pandora, in my opinion, as good as it is, I believe it's already been left behind. I think there are many other better preamplifiers than the Pandora. That's not to knock it. I'm not saying it's no good. I'm not saying it's not a good preamp. I'm just saying there are far more new offerings from different brands, including Griffin, that are so much better than the Pandora. Easy to listen to. That's how I describe the Karma. I agree with you. It's a very easy to listen to loudspeaker, Joe. I agree 100% with you. Take care, Jay. Keep grinding. We have the rare sighting of the sun. Time to go outside. Awesome, man. Enjoy the sun, man. How did you like the outgoing Rockport Aviators versus Sasha Daw? Great question, Joseph. Rockport and Wilson Audio, two brands that cannot live under the same roof. Yeah, newsflash, that's a fact. You'll never see a dealer that has Rockport and Wilson Audio. They are not to be under the same roof. That's not a secret. That's not information from an intelligence, from confidential information. That's what I meant. That's not like a big deal, okay? You'll never see Wilson and Rockport under the same roof. Okay, now with that out the way, how do they compare? Well, you could come in the future here and listen to both. Yes, I'll have a Wilson Audio speaker. Yes, I have one secret loud Wilson Audio speaker in storage that's not listed yet. And I have a Rockport speaker. So you could definitely come and listen to both. But if you want to know at a high level, how do they compare? Look, both of them are fantastic loudspeaker brands. Let me start by saying that they are both phenomenal loudspeakers. Okay, Wilson being the more popular brand, the bigger brand. I believe it's like 60 plus employees and counting. Rockport is a far smaller operation. I don't even think Rockport has 10 employees for all I know. Okay, that does not make Rockport a bad brand. I got to say that. Josh and his team and Andy, they make fantastic loudspeakers, incredible loudspeakers. Rockport is a fantastic brand, and so is Wilson Audio. Okay, so it's not a matter of which one is better. I think it's a matter of which one really satisfies you the most. Having owned Rockport Lyras, having owned 10 pairs of Wilson Audio speakers, yes, I didn't stutter, 10 pairs of Wilson Audio loudspeakers. I will say that Rockport has, personally, Rockport has better bass than Wilson. And that is simply because I think Rockport is a little easier to place than a lot of Wilson Audio loudspeakers. In the case of the Sasha DAW, which is the question that you have, the Sasha DAW is easily the speaker that I would retire with if tomorrow I had to go away for life. Easily. Sasha DAW will always be speakers that I've ever owned. When you consider the price point that you can buy it for right now, I think you can get one for probably 18, 19, around there. That's a lot of speaker for $18,000 to $20,000. Sasha DW is a speaker that if you are saving it's just to make that one purchase, you'll never look back. It's really an incredible, incredible loudspeaker. What's good about the Sasha DAW? In my room in Florida, it had tremendous bass, so it played really loud. It really had a huge soundstage, although not as big as an Alexia. Of course, the Alexia being a larger sibling is going to have longer, wider, lengthier wings than the Sasha DAW. That's no secret, right? Also, the Alexia can play louder. But anyway, the DAW has enough power, enough grunt, and soundstage to fill, I would say, 99% of the medium-sized rooms out there with ease. I did not have any issues placing the Sasha DW in my rooms. I actually found it rather easy, believe it or not, to get good bass out of that speaker, which I can't say about the same thing about the Alex that I had. I think the Alex, although I like the Alex, in my opinion, was the most difficult speaker for me to get good bass out of. I had a hard time getting great bass out of the Alex. Hard time. A lot of hard time. And many of you have communicated that to me, which is why you always have to buy subs for them to give it more bass down low, more grunt. But for some reason, the Sasha DW never lacked any bottom end, any punch, any muscularity. It always had incredible bass for me. The Rockport, though, the Rockport, I think, will give you a lot more top end. I think that tweeter that Rockport uses is going to give you an extra couple of clicks of information, if that makes sense. It's going to give you a lot more detail up top without being aggressive, without being in your face, without being overly bright, without fatiguing you. Okay. And so as far as the tonality, I do believe that the Sasha DAW will play louder. So if you like your music really loud, I think the Sasha DAW might be the better speaker. If you're looking for high dB, high SPLs, Sasha DAW will probably be the better one. But if you're doing low volume listening, I do think that the Rockport Avior will be probably the better speaker for that. Low to medium listening levels, I think I would prefer the Rockport Aviors. But that's not to say that the DAW isn't. Now, as far as resellability, remember I just talked to you guys about reselling products so that you can make a switch down the road. There is no question in my mind that the Sasha DAW will be the easier speaker to sell. No question about it. So if you're thinking about long-term, you're thinking about reselling 2 years down the road, I would say stick to the Sasha. You'll sell the Sasha, lose very little in doing so if you buy it right. You don't have to worry about it or getting stuck with it. That's not to say that the Avior is a hard speaker to sell. It's not a hard speaker to sell, but the Sasha DAW is much easier to sell than a Rockport Avior. You'll be missing Nagra. I will be missing Nagra in the rooms for now, yes. But don't be surprised if I end up reaching out to Nagra and putting something together with them. They're really good people. They've helped me out in the past. I mean, Nagra has never been bad to me. I have communicated with them via email. They've been really responsive with me, really helpful. Have nothing bad to say about Nagra. Are there any British products do it? Do any British products do it for me now? To be frank with you, I can't think of any right now, British products that I would own right now. That's not to say that there aren't any, but maybe because I'm so removed from the hi-fi products that come out of um, Britain that I am just completely disconnected. But that's not to say that there isn't anything great over there. I'll never say that. I've owned the Cord Dave DAC. I liked it a lot in its time. B&W, incredible. So I know there are many other great brands out in Great Britain. I just have never been a person to chase a lot of their products. But it's not to say that there isn't anything great over there. I missed you, Jay. You should make lives more often, just you. Yeah, I know. I haven't had a moment to do that. I've been spending a little more time with the family, going out on Sundays, and just having more quality time when I can, So, but I'm going to try to do a little more of these. I see 140 of you are watching right now. So hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, please. Okay. Okay. Let me see. Solution versus CH position. Solution versus CH position is a really interesting one. Okay, because they're both from the same country. There are many similarities when it comes to solution and CH position. I can't tell you that CH is better than solution or solution is better than CH. Okay, I can't really say that about one or the other. They're both high quality, high end products. Really, the Rolexes of hi-fi. Those two brands have been battling it out, in my opinion, for the last easily 15 years and counting. They both give you great performance propositions. If I'm going to say Sonics, I'm going to say this. I think that Solution has the upper hand when it comes to bass control. Solution, the switch mode power supplies that they have in the 7 series and also now the new 3 series, by the way, which I'm going to be listing a pair of brand new CO 3 series Solution products, by the way. They both, the new 3 series, not the old one, the new 3 series and the current 700, they both have switch mode power supplies. If you're wondering what the hell does that even mean, Jay, it means incredible bass control, incredible articulation, incredible pitch definition down low, incredible speed. That Solution product as of late has always been impressive. It's a very clean, clear sounding sound, a lot of resolution, immediate. It just gets up and goes. It's like an electric car, 0 to 60 in 2 second flat. This is that's the approach for Solution, in my opinion. CH, on the other hand, it's a little different. CH doesn't have perhaps that level of bass control. That's not to say that it's loose or it's not articulate. It just doesn't come on top of your shoulders and knocks you on your ass the way Solution does when it comes to bass. CH is a lot more polite when it comes to the bass control. And I'm speaking specifically about the M10 series, not the lower models. Okay, I want to make sure I'm comparing apples to apples. CH Precision also has a lot of adjustments, like the bias adjustments. It has the feedback, excuse me, the feedback adjustment. It's got a lot of those things that Solution doesn't have. Okay, so you can do a lot more of that with the CH Precision brand. In terms of prices, unfortunately, Solution, it's just very expensive, guys. It's starting to climb in price. It's starting to really get out of hand. Okay, the new 717 is a stereo amplifier that MSRP's for 135 or 133 around there. Give or take a few $1,000. When the CH Precision M10 is like 109, I think it is 110. That's a lot of money. The gap between both, and when you look at an M10, it's 2 chassis. It's well built. It's got a beautiful display. You can control it from the app. It's got a lot of adjustments, and $20,000 cheaper, $25,000 cheaper than the Solution 717. Um, in terms of service, how do they compare? I'm going to go into details when it comes to service. You guys should have known by now, it's public knowledge. You can go on a forum and find it. I'm not going to give you the website where to find this, but Solution, or specifically Access Audio, who happens to be the US importer of Solution, made a statement about the issues they've had with the quality of the newly released 717 stereo amplifier. Okay. It's a long, drawn out discussion as to what were the issues with that production, because there are some questionable things that have been happening with the 717s. Okay. And again, so Access Audio, the importer of Solution, the US importer or North American importer of Solution, was very open about what issues they were having with the production. Now, have I seen them be resolved? Do I have proof of that? I don't. Word in the street, according to them, is that they have already rectified all of this, and there are no issues with their current 717 flagship amplifier. When it comes to the M10 CH Precision, there hasn't been any issues that I know of with them. Will all of them be perfect? No. This is high-end stuff. There are many, many sensors inside these amplifiers. There is so much going on inside of them in very expensive parts that they are, not going to lie, they are a very complex design. It's not a Past Labs amplifier that has some, transistors and a transformer and some wires and caps, and that's done. Very simple design. These are very, very complicated circuit designs. So more than likely, there are more things that can fail with them. Okay. I had a small issue with an M10 CH Precision, an M10 that I sold. Okay. And it was actually detecting an error from the speaker. Okay. For whatever reason, when you turned it on, it went into protection mode, and it even tells you what it's sensing. It was sensing an issue with the binding posts. We thought it had maybe a strand of copper stuck inside that was creating some sort of a short circuit. We looked at everything. I contacted Kevin Wolf and I explained what was happening. They had me do some troubleshoot, and let me tell you something: the way they handled the situation was impeccable. That amplifier was gone and back from Switzerland in 14 days. That amplifier was fixed immediately. It made its way to Switzerland. They tested it for 4 days over there to make sure it was working perfectly, and came back to the US, and it was put back in that system. No issues, no concerns. Amazing. The way CH Precision handles their service, impeccable. We'll never say the opposite. It's if you've ever had any sort of fear of buying Swiss products because you're concerned with the service, because you're concerned with waiting too long to get a repair, because you're concerned with, oh my God, I don't want to ship anything overseas. Let me tell you something. CH Precision is king when it comes to that. They will send you the label. You'll slap it on there. They'll charge you for the label, right? If it's out of warranty, of course, but they'll handle everything for you. You'll pretty much pay for that label. They'll have DHL pull up at your house, load that amplifier, load it up on that vehicle, ship it overseas. They'll keep you basically updated along the way of what they're doing to the amplifier, what they discovered. Is it on the test bench? And then once it ships back to you, you'll know right away. Really painful, like experiences that you've had in the past should be completely forgotten about with CH Precision. Okay. Zero issues. I repeat, as a matter of fact, I dare to say this. I am almost feeling as if CH Precision takes less time to repair product than domestic brands here in the US. Yes. Macintosh is taking like 3-4 months to repair anything. Macintosh. And CH Precision had an M10 back to Switzerland and returned back to the US in like maybe 3 weeks. Let's say 3 weeks, because I forgot about the fact that they had it there for 4 days, just tested it to make sure that there were no more issues before they came back. Call it 3 weeks. That's how fast they can get product repair. So if you have any concerns with Swiss products, I'm going to tell you, CH is amazing when it comes to repairing product. Solution. Um, Ever since Access Audio took on the distribution of the North American distribution of Solution, they do have a service center in Tennessee where they repair it. I do think they have a service center in Florida, I believe. I hope I'm not wrong here, but I know that they repair them now here. Okay. I don't know if certain products need to go back to the factory in Switzerland. That is a thing. Warning, that is a thing. Certain models need to go back to Switzerland for repair. Okay. That's not every single product gets repaired in the US from both of these brands. Okay. Some of the more complex circuitry or design needs to go back to Switzerland. But again, don't be afraid of that, because at least from CH Precision's side, I can tell you my experience has been fantastic. Okay. So take it for what it's worth. High-end audio market is quite small. That's the problem they have with used devices. Maybe they should start renting. Anyway, now, good point. This one, people want quality vintage audio. Frames from the 1960s, quality solid state pre-power, and I own modest audio like Bryson 3BN PB, Amber Preamp 2, Allison AL 130U speakers. Good, man. I mean, if you're into vintage, there's nothing wrong with it, man. If that's what your budget is for, and that's what satisfies you, and that keeps you in peace, and you're happy with the performance, forget about what else is trying to say. Forget about the new offerings. Forget about the latest and greatest. What matters most is that you are happy with your system. That's all that matters, man. Forget about reading magazines. Forget about all of that. The sound environment in Omaha has Rockport and Wilson both, and have for years. Well, let me tell you this. The sound environment in Omaha, Nebraska might be the only dealer that has them. But I know right now, factually, if you're a Wilson dealer and you want Rockport, Rockport won't give it to you. If you're a Rockport dealer and you want Wilson, Wilson won't give you the line. So that could have been an early, like a long time dealer of both of them. And they just happen to carry business as usual with those brands. But right now, that's not allowed. Thorens, never ever needed overbuilt and priced esoteric audio. Just as I said, if this is what does it for you, this hi-fi gear that's on the screen right now, and you're happy with it, and you like the performance, screw what anyone else says, screw what anyone else is talking about, screw anything else that's in front of your face. What matters is that you're happy. That's what matters the most. I listened to Wilson Audio speakers and was very impressed, but I'm not a millionaire. That's the demographic they go after. I can achieve sound like that for a fraction of the price. If you know how to achieve sound like that for a fraction of the price, you need to have a YouTube channel immediately. I'm telling you right now, you need to create a YouTube channel. You'll have 1 million subscribers in no time. I still don't know how to create top level sound for a tenth of the price, unless I buy super depreciated gear that is almost 10 cents on the dollar, former flagship stuff from the past. Then we could have a conversation about this. But as of right now, I don't know how you can create the same level of sound from the upper echelon of hi-fi for a tenth of the price. I still haven't discovered that. What will be the price brackets in the cheap room? I don't really know about any price brackets. My cheap room will definitely have, I'm thinking more like, look, as an example, in the beginning, I'm going to have high caliber stuff because obviously I want to send the message that these are some elite rooms with some great electronics. That room, though, the affordable room, will definitely have, like, maybe a $20,000 Magico. Maybe you'll see some Wilson Audios there that are more affordable there. You'll see some maybe focals, things of that nature. You'll see more normal stuff there. No question about it. As far as DAX, I'm thinking more of like a DCS, bar talk. I'm thinking of DAX that are like anywhere from 10 to 15K. Remember, I know that might be still expensive for you, but in the grand scheme of things, when you compare this to the other room that I'll have, this is considered affordable, believe it or not. I sold audio in the early 70s and early 90s, and I also set up sound rooms and turntables. I worked on a Thorn's reference, stunning. Awesome, man. Great to know. How do you rate the MPBD8 DAC with Griffin Apex? So, look, MPD8 DAC with a Griffin Apex. I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's a bad combo because I don't have any experience with that DAC. Straight up, I don't. But if I go by what I know, I would probably much rather have an MSB of some sort with the preamplifier module built in and a Griffin Apex. Now, I'll tell you which DAC surprised the hell out of me. This was a shock, but it really sounded amazing with my Apex, okay? I could not believe the performance I got from this DAC / Super Audio CD player. And that was the DCS Rossini Apex, which I still have for sale on my website, jaysaudiolab.com. I could not believe how good that DAC / Super Audio or CD player, not Super Audio CD player, that DAC CD player sounded as a preamplifier through my Apex. I was shocked at how amazing it sounded. Okay, again, that was an accident. accident I had, and I connected a Sasha DAW with a Boulder 860 integrated, that's a baby small integrated, on top of an Artisania esoteric amp stand using my authentic. I was shocked when I heard that. I can't believe how good that sounded. I remember it off the top of my head. So those are accidental setups that have blown you away. So if you want to do yourself a favor, locate Rossini Apex player. It sounded amazing straight Apex. Okay. I have heard Bryston changed their policy since 2026. You got a 10-year warranty and only for the first-time buyer. Yep. And you know why Bryston announced Bryston amplifiers from Canada, the only brand that I know of that had a 20-year warranty, transferable warranty, okay? The only reason why they changed this policy now from 20 years to 10 years for the original owner. Yes, for the first time you're hearing this, and I forgot to mention this, so I'll put it out there. The reason why Bryston has done that is because people want to buy used. And it hurts their business model when you can transfer the warranty. That's the reason why this happens. People don't want to buy new. Why would they buy new and pay close to MSRP or buy from a dealer if they can buy from Jay with still a warranty, a used secondhand Bryston product, for example? Why would they go to a dealer if they can save thousands of dollars by buying through me? This is why Bryston and other brands are doing this non-transferable warranty, which leads me to another point. Guys, I'm tired of answering these questions through messages. It is no secret that I purchased a ton of Macintosh products, which is listed on my website. I don't have that much left. A lot of that product, that Macintosh product, is demo pieces from Magnolia, from several Magnolias in Texas. I bought a ton of Mac gear from them. So it's demo equipment. What does that even mean? Demo is whatever they had on the floor that was displayed. And then later one day, when that partnership between Macintosh and Magnolia was cut off by Bose, all these demos were sold off or put in boxes. So some of them They don't have the manual. They are missing a remote. They are missing, I don't know, a cover. They're missing, whatever, little small things, accessories, right? You can't believe how many times I've gotten, how many messages I've received from people who said, well, since this demo's got a warranty, right? The Macintosh. And I say, dude, Macintosh gear is non transferable. The warranty is non transferable on Macintosh components. You can't go out there and buy a Macintosh component. Maybe if you're watching me, you'll hear from me. There is no warranty on any Mac gear that you buy from the secondhand market. Macintosh doesn't allow it. So if you're looking for a Macintosh component and the person selling it to you says it's got a warranty, they're lying through their teeth and spitting on your face. There is no warranty. You understand why, right? Because if you need warranty, you buy from your dealer and pay tax on top of that. That's how you get the full Macintosh support. It's not a business model to also give you transferable warranty so that how is that fair to the person that bought it new and paid more than you did? It's not fair. So that's why a lot of brands are actually going to start doing this. Warranty is non-transferable. Remember, the only brand that I can think of that fixes products without a warranty probably is Pass Labs. It's the only brand that I can think of that fixes product without a warranty. It could be things that are a decade old, long out of warranty, and they still fix it for you. Pass Labs is, in my opinion, the poster child when it comes to customer service. Incredible. To me, they still are king when it comes to customer service. That's not to say that there aren't other players out there that are really good when it comes to fixing their own products, okay? But again, Bryston is doing this because they're starting to see that their sales are probably slowing down, and this has to do with this whole thing of transferable warranty. They can't continue to do that business model if they need to move more product. Jay, do you think there is an opportunity for young hobbyists to enter the hi-fi business? Yes, there's an opportunity, and I think that it all starts with the right, I don't want to say mentor, but the right influence. It starts with talking to people that have been doing it for longer, familiarizing yourselves with brands, with names, with going to the shows. And even though at a show it's not the perfect representation of what true high-end sound is like, right? But it gives you an idea. Also, talking to reputable dealers, which are now very difficult to find. Um, the more you do that, the more you're going to understand what really fits your budget. There's a lot of confusion within the hi-fi industry. What do I mean by that? Many products being offered to you. You are confused more than having the perfect idea that next system should be for you. Okay, so the best way for me to the best way, in my opinion, for you guys to, or the new hobbyists that are there that could be watching, is to make sure that you talk to reputable dealers, to make sure that you read as much as possible, to make sure that you attend shows as well. Because at shows, again, although you're not going to get the full experience, it's important that you get in front of these products. It's important that you touch these products. It's important that you at least sit down and listen, at least have an idea. When it comes to your budget, when it comes to what is the type of sound that I like. Let me go into the Von Stryker room. Let me go into the Magical room. Let me go into the Wilson room. Let me go into the other room. This is important. This is a key part of the process because you need to start zooming in on those types, on the type of sound that really satisfies you the most. And I think a show is the perfect opportunity for that. Once you do that, once you've located that, then you can start making calls. Then you can find out who's your local dealer. Then you can start reaching out to the right people. Then you can start to find out for your budget what is it that will give you the best performance for your means, if that makes sense. Hey Jay, I enjoy your honesty and integrity, which is very rare. Full support here. Thank you so much, Kelly. I appreciate it, man. Thank you for your words. Okay, next, what is your stance on art in the listening room? Have you seen high-end listening rooms with paintings hung directly over room treatments? I love great sound, but I love great art. Love your room videos. I know of a couple of people that have beautiful like art. Yes, I do, and there's nothing wrong with that. To be honest with you, no problem. Ultimately, it's you. You're the person that has to like the room. And so there are acoustic treatment brands that actually give you that now, the opportunity to create your own design. Hey, I want the album cover of Dire Straits on the panel, and then I want the one from Sting, and then I want the one from Metallica on that panel. You can do that now. There's that opportunity as well. They are full-blown acoustic treatments. They do the job and they don't have to look very plain and simple. So, yes, you can definitely do that nowadays. There is nothing wrong with it. I have seen some high end rooms that are like that, and I can totally understand why that vibe is important to the listener. I totally understand why looking at these album covers or these decorations, this art that has to do with music, would encourage you to sit in that room for longer, would actually make it feel like you're in a special space. 100% get it. Totally understand that. To my friends in the USA, please try Name, Kef, REL, and Cord cables. All good stuff, covering all price points. Good recommendation, man. I could not agree with your recommendation. I am curious to know how popular speakers like Kef and BMW compare to the premium ones that you listen to, like Martin. How does Kef and BMW compare to premium loudspeaker brands? Man, let me think about this. How do they compare? Okay. Um, First of all, Kef and also B&W are some of the most successful loudspeaker brands out there. Okay. I remember coming up in the 90s and having a hard time basically forgetting the sound of B&W speakers, those big, huge Nautilus speakers, amazing speakers that were just impressive to look at, that no one could afford. I was far removed from being able to afford anything like that. So I'm always going to be thankful to B&W for having an impact in my early days when it comes to hi-fi, when it comes to the discovery of some incredible sound. Always be thankful to B&W for that. And Kef, the same way, same thing. How do they compare though to the ultra high end? How do they compare to the big players? Because I know many people are going to say, well, they're cheaper than the ultra high end, so the ultra high end is going to cost more, and that's not always the case. Okay, there is some ultra high end stuff that's crappy, that's shitty, that costs a lot of money, but it's trash. There is some of that. What I'm going to say is the ultra high end is accomplishes primarily two things. Number one, it's a status thing. Yes, you accomplish a pedigree, a brand that has a big name. Okay. So you acquire this status, this like, wow, that guy has solution. Wow, that guy has CH position. That guy has Griffin audio. That guy has Darzeel, right? So you have that. He must have a lot of money. He's paid. He's somebody, right? That is the one thing that the ultra high end accomplishes for you. And I'm not saying this is important. I'm just giving it to you the way it comes, you know, the way it rolls off my tongue. Okay, that's one thing that I think it accomplishes. Another thing that I think the ultra high end does is a lot of these high end products have some of the best premium performing parts. What do I mean? In the case of Martin, Mundorf caps. You have Accutone drivers, diamond tweeters, some incredible isoacoustic footers already come built into these speakers. Also, their fit and finish is second to none. They're gorgeous designs, incredible exotic wood and materials. So you're getting premium parts throughout, or you should be getting premium parts throughout. I know Martin does that. I know Zelaton does that. They are known to put some of the best cables, crossover parts, and everything about the speaker is done to the nth degree. Now, does that mean it's the best sound? That is debatable. because sound is so subjective. Sound is personal. A Martin speakers may not be everyone's cup of tea, but it doesn't mean that makes it a bad product. Someone may prefer a BMW over a Martin. There's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely perfect, right? No issue with doing that. The problem is that there is a stigma. There is almost a taboo when someone owns the ultra high end, because that person is seen as a stupid person for spending so much money on cables, on speakers, on preamps and amps. When the reality is, maybe that person that's critiquing this ultra high end hi-fi owner can't really afford any of this stuff. But in terms of performance, a quality ultra high end product should easily outdo a more affordable product. Is that always the case? It is not always the case. Okay. If I told you that's always the case, I'm being dishonest. But more often than not is the case. The ultra high end per product will outperform the more affordable products. The issue here is that KEF and BMW don't want to make higher end products. They're more than capable. BMW and KEF can do that all day long, every day. They can come out with a speaker that can crap on all of these high end offerings if they wanted to. Easily do that and outdo all of them if they wanted to. But there is no need for them to do that. They have their focus on a certain market segment, which is typically under 50 grand and below, 60 grand and below. That's their focus. That's where their team and their executives and those that make the financial decisions of the company say, dude, we can make a speaker that's 150, 200 if we want to, and outdo everybody else in that price point. But we're not going to sell many. Our success is at 50K or 30K or 20K. That's where we make our money. And so I think it's not necessarily that they're incapable of building crazy high performance products. It's just that it's not within their scope. That type of buyer needs also what I mentioned earlier: pedigree, a name, a status. And unfortunately, please don't kill me when I say this. Unfortunately, KEF and BMW don't have the same ring as the big players, the Martins, the Wilsons, and the Magicals. It doesn't ring the same, but it doesn't make it a bad product. I want to make sure you understand that there is a difference. Just like when you buy a Range Rover, although we all know it's a bad example because Range Rover has terrible reliability. We know that, right? And that's not necessarily the case with the ultra high end because it's really well built product. But Range Rover has that name. When you pull up somewhere in a Range Rover and they open doors, everyone's watching who's getting out the car. But when you pull up in a Toyota RAV4, no one gives a damn. But it's a great car. Toyota RAV4 is a great car. It's reliable as hell, right? So it's what I'm saying. The perception, the Escalades and the Range Rovers are always going to give that illusion and impression that the more affordable vehicles don't have. So those buyers of the ultra high end, hopefully makes sense. The new 3 Series of Solution kicks hell. Yes. And by the way, I just said this about the new 3 Series from Solution. I'm listing on my website. I'm gonna have the preamp and amplifier, brand new seal in the box. Okay, fantastic stuff. And you're confirming what I said. Just wait until you hear the separates of that integrated that you have, which I owned and I used with those TAD CR1 TXs, which are incredibly inefficient. That little baby integrated 3 Series, the current model from Solution, not the old one. Don't get it twisted. The current 3 Series blew my mind with the TADs. That new integrated went up 5 to 10 grand. Yes, it did. Jay and the other guys pull off. Now they're not happy. The industry isn't happy. But you know what? That's why I'm not going to beat it up to death. I wanted to make this video to touch on that subject and also answer your questions. Okay. We don't have any plans, unfortunately, of discussing anything related to the magazines, related to their practices or ethical or unethical behaviors. We don't have any more plans of doing that because I think they hurt us, and unfortunately, it's just not good for business. If I'm being honest with you, it's not really good for business, folks. I got bills to pay. So do my partners and friends and dealers and manufacturers. They all have bills to pay. Unfortunately, you're seeing what happens. That's what happens. You speak the truth, it blows up behind the scenes, and then all these side effects begin to make their way to us, and we just don't want to be part of that anymore. Jay, do you think there is a business case for allowing customers to lease high-end hi-fi equipment? I've been thinking about how to increase the accessibility for aspiring audiophiles. I spoke to this. I spoke. I spoke to Elliot and Mike. I believe we had a brief conversation about leasing hi-fi gear. It is so astronomically priced, just like cars today, right? For example, I'm gonna give you a fact. Do you guys know of the 1996 Dodge Viper GTS? Do you guys remember that supercar? 1996 Dodge Viper GTS. Do you remember it in blue with white racing stripes? Do you remember that car? Okay. That car came out in 1996. Do you know how much that car was in 1996? Supercar. $72,000. $72,000. That was the MSRP of that car. Today, which right now that car is no longer made, it's like $140,000, $160,000. Look at the difference, okay? Okay, so the reason why I'm bringing this up is because hi-fi has gotten astronomically crazy in terms of price. Really high up there, right? So what does that really mean? What that really means to me is basically that there is an opportunity, a possibility for us to perhaps start a business leasing hi-fi gear. But here's the problem that you guys may not see when it comes to leasing high-end audio components, okay? And that you guys need to be aware of. Let's just say hypothetically, I were to lease, I don't know, a pair of magical speakers. And I'm gonna come up with figures off the top of my head, so don't think these are real world figures, okay? And let's say it's a $200,000 Magical M6. Let's say you don't want to buy it, but you wouldn't mind leasing it from me. And let's say there is a minimum of a 6-month lease for you to lease it, okay? And we come to the agreement that it's going to cost you, I don't know, $4,000 a month times 6. That's $24,000 of use right on that speaker. Rather than you buying the whole thing for $190,000 to $200,000, you can own it for 6 months for $24,000 to $25,000, right? Think about it. Feel me out on this. Here's the problem with that. Not only do we have to have records and a contractual agreement on the condition of the speaker, because pictures will be like sent, right? So the dealer or the person doing this having to set it up as part of the deal, okay? And then when that person leaves, those images that are taken on site will need to be signed by the person so that everyone is in agreement the condition that speaker is in, okay? That needs to be documented, right? There's got to be also a lawyer involved. Why? Because that person that leaves that speaker doesn't have to give it up at the end of 6 months. That person can move out the country and you'll never know, and take the speakers with them to never be heard from again. You see what I'm saying? So you need to now have insurance on those products in case the person decides to not give them back. Same thing with a car. You buy a car and you lease it, you put it in your garage, the tow truck can't come inside your garage and pull it out. They have to wait until you go somewhere to park it, and then they could tow it from there. Or if it's out in your driveway, they can pull in and drag it out of there and take it to the bank. You don't do that with speakers. They're inside your house. So you can't really repo speakers inside of someone's home. You see the difficulties now? You see the problems now? So now you need insurance. You need to have lawyers involved, pictures taken, all of these things, and hope that someone doesn't walk away with your speaker for the sum of $25,000. That's $200,000 in therapy. You see what I'm saying? It could be someone that's unethical, says, I know I'm moving in 2 months. I'm going to actually rent that from Jay. And in 2 months, I'm in Europe. He can't come and get it here. I'm too far gone by the time it's time to return it or give it back to him. See the challenges when you lease equipment, how hard it is. So it has to be qualified buyers, unless the only way I could think of it working is the person buys it outright, and then at the end of the ownership or the lease or whatever is expire, that refund is given back to the person or something like that. It's too challenging, folks. It's very hard to do. There's so much more involved. And I do think that there is an opportunity to lease hi-fi gear. There's also another problem, which is what I was thinking about this. How do you deal with warranty work? For example, that speaker has been leased to 8 owners, right? Is a manufacturer our manufacturer is going to have a hard time repairing it under warranty because it's a lease? Is warranty voided the moment they know that speaker is now under a leasing company, where brands are going to say you can't have any warranty even though you are the original owner, the business leasing the product, but we're not going to give you warranty when you're leasing it. We're not going to do that. So there's no warranty anymore for the product. You see what I'm saying? So there are many things that happen. Also, if the customer blows it up, what does that look like for the customer? What if it takes 2 months for the brand to fix it? Do we still charge him those 2 months in which he's not playing music? I'm assuming yes, because if you lease a car and you blow up the engine and it's getting repaired, you're still paying, but they give you a loaner throughout your lease. So you have to be willing to give that customer a loaner while that speaker is getting repaired in the event that it cannot be repaired on site. So it's so much work. I actually consider that, if I'm being honest with you. I wanted to go in on this with another big player so that we can both make a financial investment and think about ways to allowing other people that perhaps don't have 200 grand to buy the product. They don't mind paying $4,000 $5,000 a month to have it for a minimum of 6 months. Because it's another thing is, you can't just lease it for 30 days. There's no money in it. It's too little. You can't send a product that's $200,000 to someone to only make $3,500 and then pick it back up and send it back to your warehouse. It doesn't make sense for a huge investment like that, so that you only make 3 grand. You see what I'm saying? There has to be at least a 6 month period of a lease for it to make sense. You see what I'm saying? So I have been thinking about that possibility. So maybe someday, who knows? Maybe someday that's a thing. And I think if that happens, if this comes to fruition and someone comes up with a business model where they can lease hi-fi gear of this caliber to qualified customers, I think that will change the industry forever and ever and ever. I'm telling you, it will change the industry forever, ever, if that ever happens. Solution is unreliable garbage. I would like to know why you say that about Solution. Why do you think Solution is unreliable garbage? Do you have Solution? Have you ever owned a Solution product? Do you have any receipts for saying that? If you have any sort of receipts, please share it with us, or talk about what your experience has been. Jay, they know you have a YouTube channel. Can't compare warranty experiences. You're right, Alex. Yes, you're right. Jay, leasing may be too complicated. I have just been thinking about a new and refreshing way I could contribute to the hi-fi industry. Okay, I look forward to hearing about it. Jay, I tried to get a leasing program started for dealers a long time ago. It's a hard one, my friend. It's really a difficult thing to do. Absolutely a difficult thing to do. So I hear you there. It would be a private funded. I agree. It would be privately funded. Yes, that's the only way that would work, but it would take serious money. Think about the amount of inventory you would have to have. Think about how many speakers you would have to have, how many models of different brands, the amplifiers, the preamplifiers. Think about all the stuff that you would have to have on hand. And then when they're all leased out, you still have to have more. Then also, when do you finally phase that product out? At which point do you decide, well, it's done its time, then we sell it on the used market and recoup whatever we can, which is what happened with car leasing, right? Those cars at the end of the lease, they eventually get sold off to auctions and other people buy it. If someone hasn't done it, it's not because it hasn't been really discussed. I think it's just very difficult to come up with the proper way of doing this. But I'm telling you right now, I'm looking into it. I really would love to be part of this. I would love to lease high-end hi-fi systems. I would love to lease it. Because I know there's people out there that have the means to lease it for 6 months to a year, no problem, zero questions asked, but they don't want to spend 200 grand buying it and putting it together and dealing with dealers. But maybe they do have the money to just lease it. And they realize, you know what? I'd rather just lease it. And a year from now, I get rid of it and find something else. And I don't have to deal with selling any of this, dealing with this, dealing with that. And I have full support for 12 months. If the speaker breaks, they come and fix it. Or they replace it with something else or whatever the case may be. I know there are buyers that would love that idea. Would love that idea. And then when I'm done with 12 months, send me the rock ports with the solution amplifiers and the rest of the gear, the other DAC, the MSB DAC. I want to try that next. So start putting that together for me, Jay, because my leasing program is about to expire in 60 days. I'm letting you know what I'm going to want. Okay, cool. I'm going to start looking for those products so that when we get there, we remove that and we put a brand new system for you for the next 6 to 12 months. I would love to do that, but it would take millions of dollars. It would be a huge investment, but I think it can be done. Seems only that manufacturers could offer a leasing option similar to the financial divisions of auto manufacturers. Scott, so what you have to keep in mind is the fact that once you're inside someone's home with a product, Scott, you could easily lose it forever. Easily lose it forever. And now you're talking taking someone to court, which is going to cost you legal fees over a speaker, over an amp, monoblocks, it could be over a damn power cord that's $60,000. Do you see what I'm saying? Now you may have lawyers in court battling it out over a damn power cord. That's the problem here. There are many crazy people out there that are looking to take advantage of anything, okay, in life, of any business. And that's the fee. Or here's another issue, which you may not think about, what you probably didn't think about. What if someone leases an amplifier from you? Think about it this way. They lease an amplifier from you, and what they really want is actually steal parts and swap them out with their own parts that are bad, and then call you to tell you that the amp quit working, right? And in reality, what they're doing is exactly that. They're looking to steal parts off of your amplifier and replace their old beat up parts. And then they demand a refund because they say, no, it didn't work. I just want my money back. I don't want to proceed with this. It's another problem you could encounter. What happened to the Von Stryker Ultra 7s? They were sold. They went to a happy customer, a happy home in the United States, and they're playing amazing solution gear there. Olympus, Tyco Olympus, and an esoteric turntable. Sounds fantastic. I also thought about the sort of collective where membership allows you to play with all types of stuff. Again, not sure if this is silly. That's pretty silly. But for the fees that I'm going to be charging for my experience, to be frank with you, the fees that I'm going to be charging will allow you to play with high-end gear. So if maybe think about it this way too, which is also an interesting thing. The fees that I'm going to be charging for what I'm going to be putting together here soon will allow you to play with two sound systems of high caliber, and you get a list of all the electronics that I have on hand, and you tell me, Jay, I need this, and that set up. We set it up, right? Assuming that we have it on hand. You pay, and then you come and spend basically a day and a half with me. You stay here on this apartment that we're putting together. You listen to two systems. You have fun in here, and you spend very little money to play with high-end gear. It's the same thing as if you rented a Ferrari at a racetrack, right? You don't want to own it. You don't want the cost of ownership, but you wouldn't mind racing it at a track and pay, I don't know what they charge for that experience, but you can do that, right? Kind of the same thing. You come in here, you have all this high-end gear you've never seen before. You get to listen to it, and you know what? You might go home and say, this is the best money I've spent, man, because now I know I don't want this brand or that brand, but you know what? I never thought about this other high-end brand. And I only had to come out of pocket this little in comparison to what my losses would be if I had bought that other amplifier that I originally wanted, that now I know I don't care for. That's how people need to think about this. Yes, the bass straps are coming, Walter. They are coming. They are also coming. I forgot to mention those. Thank you for reminding me. The TAD D700 Super Audio CD player surprised me how great that DAC is. Really good, and looking forward to comparing the MPD8 this year. D700 smokes my Niagara Classic DAC, which I've always loved. Wow, interesting. Thank you for that feedback, man. Awesome. I love hearing your stories. I love hearing everyone's comments on their own journey and what they have found out. Love that. James Tanner, yeah, from Bryson, is trying to push new equipment more. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Original owner funds the warranty service. Secondary market, the company makes no money of it. Exactly. Second-hand market, the company makes no money whatsoever, which is why a lot of companies are going away from doing transferable warranty. Be on the lookout. It's all changing. The industry is changing. Jay, I think it's the same that legacy audio's higher end speakers force you to use their DSP unit. I feel they would sell for more areas or velour speakers if they didn't force users into this DSP DAC. Yeah, you could be right. You could be that right, Sheldon. You could be right about that. Good point. Very valid point. Is there a future feature or technology that you wish more electronics manufacturers would begin to offer? Feature or technology that I wish more electronic manufacturers would begin to offer? Let me think about this. It would be cool if there were smarter components, meaning that connect to your network, that you don't need a remote for, maybe you can control every feature with an iPad. That would be cool. I know that can't be done for speakers, but I mean, most electronics, I think it would be great to have the ability to use an iPad and just control it from your fingertips, excuse me. Let me think what else. Size. I think size is also something I wish it was starting to become a lot more compact, because they're coming up with new concept, new designs, new ways of getting better sound, but in a smaller box. I would love to see that. I don't want to see 400-pound amplifiers anymore. Can we see an amplifier that weighs 50 pounds that is an all-out assault? That would be cool, but also that it's more affordable. Yes, I think Rogna achieves very similar performance for less money. Even their lesser company, Audio Byte, is hard to tell the difference in your opinion. Oh, awesome. Awesome. Budget, Jay doesn't have one. I do, man. I do have a budget, man. Don't be that way, man. Don't be that way. I do have a budget. I do have a budget, okay? I do. I've seen some of the rich Asian hi-fi guys with beautiful sound rooms. They do, man. The Asians are the most hardcore audiophiles there are. No question about it. They are. For sure, I listed after playback design. Had the chance to do a shootout with them in some Rocknet designs, and I was incredible surprised. Great, man. Really good to know. Okay, as someone who sold the ultra high end, the vast majority of people who buy ultra high end products have untreated rooms. Surprisingly, that is so surprising to me, but you're right. That is the truth. I'm shocked at how many ultra high end hi fi owners don't have dedicated spaces or real sound rooms, but it's true. What was the most expensive speaker that didn't impress you at all? Are you trying to get me in trouble, mister? Man, come on, man. Are you really trying to get me in trouble? Are you doing that to me? I've been getting in trouble here at home, on my channel, and you're trying to make me talk some more? Most expensive speaker that didn't impress me at all. I don't think I've been unimpressed by these expensive speakers, to be honest with you. Some are better than others, but unimpressed? I don't think that's something that I can a word that I can use to describe my experience with an ultra high end loudspeaker. I think all of them have delivered really good performance. What was the least expensive speaker that impressed me the most? This one I can answer. Are you ready? The least expensive speaker that impressed me the most was, without a doubt, without any sort of hesitation or an ounce of doubt, that was the Magnepan 20.7. That is the most impressive speaker I have ever owned. That was also probably the most affordable speaker I've had in here. The 20.7 was a fun loudspeaker. It really made me sit down and giggle, and understand that it was all about enjoying the presentation. I couldn't knock it for being extremely inefficient, for having a huge mid range that was bigger than life, which I don't agree with, for making a harmonica sound this massive when it's this tiny. I couldn't blame it on the speaker. I simply sat down and enjoyed the performance in front of me. I will always remember the 20.7. And to be quite honest with you, a part of me wishes that I could actually bring the 30.7 in my listening space. The Magnepan 20.7 will go down as the most fun, least expensive speaker that I have ever owned. I remember them. They were red in color. You guys can look them up on my channel. If you Google Magnepan 20.7, Jay's Audio Lab on YouTube, you'll probably find them. I had so much fun with that speaker, man. Really a speaker that left a great impression on me. Jay, I'm curious on what types of fears or things you needed to learn when you decided to start documenting your journey on YouTube. I had fears. Yes. What fears? Um, Fears of the fear that comes with YouTube, and obviously you're doing some great things within this space, is the fear of people knowing too much about you that you don't necessarily want to share. Your privacy is invaded. People feel that they know you. Obviously, I run into them at airports, people are like, "Oh man, you're Jay's Audio Lab, man. I follow you," and they all of a sudden start spitting out all these facts about my life, or things they found online, or things that I never even remember. I don't even remember I shared. So I think that's some of the fear that I had when I started my channel, is sharing a bit too much, and then how does that bleed into my former jobs, my former profession? It was inevitable. Eventually, you have to decide if you want to continue in this space, or you want to continue having like a regular 9 to 5. Eventually, your 9 to 5, they'll find out you have a YouTube channel, and believe it or not, it can create issues for you. It will create problems for you. It's undeniable. Okay. But soon after that, I got over that, and I realized every YouTuber is facing the same dilemma: lack of privacy and sharing a bit too much. Everyone out there on this space will always have that fear. So either I learn to accept it, or just completely shut down my channel and move away from it. Um, when I started documenting my channel, it was simply about me sharing my early beginnings, and basically just talking about whatever gear I had on hand, whatever product I was, you know, just displaying. But I never thought it was going to go as far as it has gone today. My only regret is not having started this channel 5 years earlier than I did. I wish I would have started way earlier, but you know what? I didn't have a vision. I was younger. I was still doing a 9 to 5. I had a daughter that was recently born when I started this channel. She was just, I think she had just turned 1 when I started this channel, I think it was. So, I had a lot of things going on. So I didn't have a vision. I was kind of just winging it. But now that it is a business that I'm actually, generating income from this, now I'm a lot more serious about it. Now I'm starting to really, really think about my better think about better ways to give you guys more quality content and obviously generate income for my business, right? So now I have to be more structured. Now I have to understand that what I say or don't say has consequences. So you know what, if you're thinking about a YouTube channel, you always have to think about the fact that everything you say will remain on YouTube. Someone may have downloaded their computer, and whatever you say unfortunately cannot be unsaid. And that was another fear that I had. What can I say or not say, and how do I not hurt people's feelings? Or if I hurt someone, can I take it back? Learning that has been very difficult. By the way, let me BMW used to be like Rolex. Their name brought customers to your store, regardless of what you think of their product, because they're the most successful. Yeah, BMW used to be that, no question. I liked your comparison to Rolex. I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you. They used to be that way, but times have changed, and a lot of new brands have arrived. A lot of brands have taken food off their plate, and and obviously created some great high performance products too. All the support from Alberta. My dad and I love making a coffee and watch your videos. Hey, Sheldon, have one. Have another coffee for me, man. I love. Actually, I'm having an okay, decent coffee from regular brand, but you know what? I just needed a coffee, and I'm sipping on it while I'm talking to you guys today. Okay, are you guys button for me? Are you hitting that like button? Are you subscribed to the channel? Please do that now. Let's continue. You drive a Range Rover. That's a car I've always wanted, but I don't want to deal with issues, man. I'm afraid of dealing with the issues, and I'll be pissed. I like my truck. You guys know I have a big, massive truck. Love my truck. Never thought I was a truck guy. I always had sports car in my early days, and now I cannot get myself to get rid of my truck. I cannot get myself to trade in my truck, man. I can't. I can't. I think about trading it in for like a Dodge Durango Hellcat, something that's fun, or maybe a Corvette C8 Z06 or something like that. But it's like when I look at my truck, I'm like, man, I just can't. I love my truck. It's uncomfortable. When you get on my truck, if you ever come to visit me here, I'll pick you up in this monster. Make sure you bring an Advil or an ibuprofen 800. Make sure you wear a neck brace, because you're going to feel every single imperfection on the road when I pick you up on this truck, okay? It is what it is. You'll feel beat up when you get off my truck. But I just love it, man. I just love it, man. BMW has the talent. They just believe the juice wasn't worth the squeeze. Yeah, I agree. This is it. I said it. BMW is capable of making some great loudspeakers. Absolutely. They are more than capable. They can take out a lot of names within the loudspeaker world if they wanted to. They just don't want to, because they're a business. They're zoomed in on their demographic, and they stay focused. Hey Jay, FYI, the questions aren't popping up on the screen anymore. Are they not popping up on the screen anymore? The questions? Really? I thought they were popping up on the screen. I see them. Are you guys sure? Are they not popping up on the screen anymore? Hopefully they are. Okay, next one. I believe all of this interaction is a great sign that you have a ton of support, Jay. Yes, Scott Peterson, absolutely, man. And I thank you for your support as well, man. Thank you for being with me here today, spending time with me, and doing this. Okay, I really appreciate your support. Guy across the street from me had a Viper. That's my dream machine. My dream car is a Dodge Viper, man. I just cannot afford it. See, I have a budget. I told you I have a budget. I just can't afford a Viper right now. I wish I had a Viper. Is there a speaker out there that raises in value like a vintage or even a current speaker that when you buy it, the value of it increases? I don't know of any hi-fi product that appraises in value. Unfortunately, It's not that type of product. It's not like some cars. It's not like watches. It's not like real estate. I don't know of any hi-fi gear that appraises in value. Unfortunately, that's not a thing with hi-fi. Viper is a crude sledgehammer, but effective. Yes, Joe, absolutely. The Viper is a crude sledgehammer, but effective. There is an anti-influencer movement that's brewing. Joey, there's always an anti-influencer movement that brews. There's always a force trying to shut up influencers from telling the truth or speaking on their experience about whatever it is they're going through. There's always some of that. You all need to learn how to recognize that. The market for used ultra high-end audio products is way too small to lease. I could agree with you there. I could definitely agree with you there. Whipping up on a dying industry model is akin to kicking a dog while it's down. Jay, you are a class act for leaving them to their selves. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. Couldn't they put their house or something of high value as collateral? Chris, it could be possible, Chris, but I don't know of a lot of people who would do that, Chris. I don't know of many customers that would put up their house as collateral to lease hi-fi equipment. Same mentality that grew the subscription model, excuse me. If I became a high-end audio dealer retailer again, I would find a lender who offers 2 years, zero financing. It's more attractive than leasing. Interesting. Yep. Good point. Great point. Okay. I love solution. Industrial design, great. Cool. Yeah. It's a great product. I said it. It's a great product. Jay, are you going to do more turntables? I would say for right now, no. But maybe towards the end of the year, I might see myself with a turntable in here. Let's see. Manufacturers would love seeing a ton of their products coming off a lease and being dumped on the used market. Yeah, I know. It would be a difficult situation to lease hi-fi gear. It would definitely be a difficult situation. All right, let's see. I'm looking at all your questions, folks, trying to take on a lot of these questions. Okay, here we go. Another question. Even Rolex isn't considered the best for a real watch person. I don't know much about watches. This is my watch, guys. Apple Watch. I got a $25,000 power cord, but I got a $800 watch. My priorities are straight, right? $800 watch and a $25,000 power cord. Isn't that some shit? Could you please compare the lamp and horizon that you have with MSB? Um, all right, I'll do this. I'll do this last one here. Horizon with the MSB. Okay. How does the Lamp and Horizon 360 compare with the MSB Cascade? Okay. Well, first of all, price points are different. The Horizon 360 is 64 grand, I believe, today, and the Cascade is 95K, which I think might end up being 100 next year. How does it compare? Two different sounds. Cascade is a Cascade is a solid state DAC, right? So the sound is the sound that it comes with, right? It's very, very fast, really good bass, really, really some of the best bass I've had. If you haven't seen my review of the Cascade, I encourage you to find it on my channel. Type MSB Cascade Jay's Audio Lab here on YouTube, and you'll find my review of the Cascade. Incredible bass definition, really deep bass. It's so forgiving with bad recordings, by the way. The Cascade allowed me to listen to recordings that I couldn't listen to through other DACs. It's also very plug and play, extremely, extremely reliable. The MSB Cascade, or any MSB DAC, really never has any sort of failures or issues or glitches ever. In my experience with a lot of MSB DACs, has always been some of the best built products today. The Cascade also happens to be very analog like, very, there's no digital feeling to it, or brightness, or just bite on the top end. None of that with the Cascade. Zero. It's so polished up top, so airy, so well defined. I love the Cascade. Now, in comparison to 360 Horizon, it's a different animal. Horizon 360 has tubes, as you know, so you can flavor the sound, okay, to your liking, so you can cook in the kitchen better with the Horizon. You can buy different tubes if you want more bass. You can purchase tubes that are better for that. If you want a better mid-range, you can again buy tubes that do that better. So you have more tunability with the 360. Okay. That said, it doesn't have the same bass control, in my opinion, that the Cascade has. It doesn't. Okay. It does have some limitations because I don't believe Tube Gear has the best bass there is. I still think Class D or Solid State, in my opinion, have the best bass that exists today. But if you have a system, let's say, that is too analytical, you need a little more soul. You need a system that can allow you to listen to all sorts of recordings without punishing you greatly for that. I think the Horizon 360 would be. I think the Horizon could be the better DAC for that. Meaning, maybe on a weekend you're going to listen to jazz, and there is a certain tube that you prefer with jazz. You swap out tubes. It takes you 5 minutes or less, 3 minutes or less, and you now have the tube sound that you're looking for. If you want better vocals, again, you can change those out as well, and now your system sounds different. I like that about the Horizon 360. I like the fact that you can just fine tune it to your liking. It's like having that race car where you can change the adjustment of the suspension on the fly. I love that, right? Or you have cars that you can do race mode, or you can do comfort mode. You can do all those things with a knob. That's more or less what the Horizon 360 will do for your system. That's a really welcome addition to this stack. I love that about the Horizon 360. However, if you're looking for a lot more neutrality, a lot more of what the truth is, and again, more grip, a lot more of this analog feeling. I think that that's where the Cascade, excuse me, will do a better job. The Cascade, to me, has been the best DAC that I've ever heard from MSB. Okay, I don't know how MSB did it, but I think the Cascade, to me, is a superior DAC to the Select 2. However, the Select 2, which I'll have one for sale, I actually have one coming from the factory, from MSB in California. They just checked it out for me, top to bottom. It's coming with the digital director, by the way, in silver color, completely checked out by MSB and updated by MSB. I'll have a Select 2 for sale soon next week. The Select 2, for the money, it's unbelievable. For the money, you're going to have a hard time finding a better DAC than the Select 2. Select 2 as a preamp is outstanding. If you don't have the money for a world-class pre, please get yourself a Select 2 and use it as a preamplifier. You'll remember me, okay? But again, Horizon and Cascade both are incredible products, but it depends on what you're trying to do. If you need more flexibility, Horizon 360 will be the better fit, assuming that you like tinkering with tubes. But if you don't want any tinkering, if you don't want to be messing around with tubes or embarking on that rabbit hole, but you want pure performance, you want immediacy, you want incredible bass control and definition, Cascade will do that for you in spades. And the last one, Jay, would you do a hi-fi headphones video? Many high-end options on the market today. To be honest with you, I am so not qualified to do hi-fi headphones because I haven't been in that world. And I don't want to disrespect those people that do this 24/7, that actually spend time with different hi-fi headphone setups. I don't want to really belittle their work because they're more qualified than I'll ever be. So no, right now for the immediate future, I just don't think I have that as part of my journey. Okay, I just want to make sure that I have one vision, and that is the ultra high end. And by the way, before I close, you will see some normal, more affordable brands be compared in both of my rooms. For example, you know what I'm thinking of doing? My all-out assault reference system in one end, and then maybe in the second room, I'll have something that's a third of the price, right? A system for a third of the price, and then be able to talk to you guys about, okay, how do they sound different? What do I gain from my reference room by going into something that's a third of the price? What did I lose? What stayed the same? Remember, both rooms are the same dimensions, same treatments, same windows. And so I'll be able to sit in front of my reference, turn around, walk over to the next room, sit down in the next room, push play, same song, same volume level, same track, but a third of the price, and be able to tell you, wow, okay, this is shocking. This is what happened. This is what didn't happen. That's the fun that I want to have. I also want to do CD player comparisons. I want to compare the flagship Esoteric against the Wadax that I have in place, against the more affordable DCS Rossini Apex. I want to have a three-way shootout through my second room, not my reference room, and be able to compare that. You see what I'm saying? Those are the shootouts. I got Macintosh preamps that I could probably throw in the mix to see how does this iconic brand compare to a CH Precision 010? How does it compare to a Solution 727? I want to do these comparisons. I want to buy those 6 chassis, 2,000 watt Macintosh monoblocks that are 110K. I want to compare those against the Solutions of the world, the big boys from CH Precision, the big Apex monoblocks that I have. I want to do these comparisons. You know what I'm saying? Can I make those 6 chassis Macintosh monoblocks with a world-class preamplifier and some of the best cables found today sound better than the Solutions of the world or the Apexes of the world or the CH Precisions of the world? What would happen? What if we get incredible results through those 6 chassis monoblocks? Those are the things I want to do, guys. But I need your support. As I've said before, I need you guys to hit that like button always. Okay, continue to support me. If you need some advice when it comes to your sound system, go to my website, book a consultation with me. I promise you, I'll be raw, uncut, tell you the truth about whatever it is that you want to know. It's a one-on-one time alone with you where you can beat me up to death with any questions you may have, any industry things you want to know. Book a consultation with me. Okay, go through my website. Trust me, it's the best money you can spend, especially if you're looking to zoom in on the best products for your system. Okay, if you're confused about what preamp to buy next and you have 10 options, I'm going to narrow it down to 2 or 3 and I'm going to tell you why I eliminated the other 7. If you're looking for a set of speakers and you're confused between 3 brands, I'm going to narrow it down to the one that I think you should buy based on what you're telling me, based on your room, based on your dimensions, based on your type of music, based on your current amplifier. I'm going to narrow it down for you. Okay, so I'm gonna make it easier for you to get out there and buy the best product for you, for your needs, based on your current desires, not what I think. It's not about what I think. It's based on what feedback you give me. Okay, remember that. So it's the best money you can spend. Anyway, thank you for your support. 2 hours and a half today. I'm happy with what we have done today. Really happy that you guys supported me along the way. And stay tuned for more content is coming your way. We're going to be setting up some incredibly expensive critical mass rack. Okay, the Maxim Ultra 2, I think it's called. It's crazy. Okay, the rack you're going to see is a black obsidian black Mercedes-Benz color rack from Critical Mass. Okay, I'm going to put that together. Hopefully I'm going to document the whole thing. You guys are going to be part of the action. That's going to be in my reference room soon. I can't wait to show you guys what we got in store here at Jay's Audio Lab. If you are looking for ultra hi-fi gear, you know where to go, right? If you're looking for some good deals on affordable gear, go to my website. I got some great subwoofers there for sale. Got some cheapy, good cables that are not going to break the bank for your system. I'm going to make an effort to have a diversity of products, high end, mid, and low, okay, so that you guys hopefully can pick up something from me and support me. I appreciate you all. Thank you for your support, man. Appreciate it, man. You guys give me that energy that I need every day to keep doing this, okay, to keep doing this day in, day out. It's you all that give me that fuel. All right, signing out, Jay's Audio Lab. I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care. Have a beautiful rest of your week and get out there and work your asses off. Peace.